Hello everyone! Happy to be with you guys. So I don't have the music today because I'm just broadcasting straight from my phone, so I'll give everyone a moment to kind of jump on and say hi. In the comments, let me know that you're joining me. I am waiting for the feed to pull up myself, so let's get connected. How is everyone? Hopefully you're doing great. Yes? Okay. I am excited. So in today's episode, we're going to play to create with the Whimsy Accessory Set. This is the Whimsy Accessory Set, and it will be kind of like one of the main elements that I will use specifically in my scrapbooking layout creations. I recommend Whimsy. I'm sure you can use it in fun various other ways, but for the most part, out of the different kinds of brands, whether that be card making or the DIY style crafts or scrapbooking, I really recommend it for the scrapbooking or for scrapbookers, or for all of you that are scrapbooker creators, let me know. And hopefully it just inspires you. Maybe other ideas will spark for other little creations that you have in the works, and just different fun things. So I really love the Whimsy Accessory Set. So it does come with these three pretty good size designs that you see here. So we have 1, 2, 3. Let's put them in the order there. And you could label them. You could say, oh, this is like a cloud. But then if you happen to join us for the pre-release party, we shared some samples of where Mindy, our product manager, used it as like a snow pile. But really, your paper really speaks a lot as you start to utilize the patterns in your papers to kind of set moods as well. So although shapes, sometimes we like to put them in, a little box. They don't have to go there. Sometimes it can just be a trendy element based off of whatever paper or patterns that you're using. Then of course we have this like burst shape. It could be a gear. It could be, again, just another fun element, a whimsical element. I guess that's in a way it came up with its name. And then the same thing over here. I laughed because, first off the bat, I'm thinking like a little, maybe flower where you can cluster, and we're gonna do all this. I guess I shouldn't get ahead of myself. We're gonna really play with these and just have fun, because that's always the first step of the creating process, right? But someone even mentioned they can see it being like a box, like you can make a birthday element out of it. Lots of fun ways that you can create with various different themes and needs, depending, of course, again, all back to what your creation you're wanting, and or the paper that you are also pulling in as you're creating resources, as you are utilizing the different things to make your own creation. So to start off with, I thought I would just do more of like starting with like a more simple feel. And Whimsy does have a lot of movements, and so I think of borders. Usually if I know I want to use a certain set, in this case Whimsy, I'm excited to use it. My next process, my next step would probably be to pull out some kind of border and start throwing that in the mix. And because, it just depends on your style, but my natural thing, I'd probably reach for something a little bit more subtle, meaning soften their movements. So depending on what border sets maybe you have in your toolbox of designer templates, that will vary. But the ones that I think of and are like Abbey Road or Chestnut Drive is a nice soft one too, and something like that, right? And that just kind of helps with, depending on the movement that you want overall in your accessories. I'm trying to find my Abbey Road. I know I just had it out the other day in a nutshell. Well, let's go with Chestnut. Sometimes just pull out the one that comes to you first, which is also true in anything as well. Because you can't go wrong really in anything. I just thought it would help kind of share some of those insights of maybe just more instinct things that I have come to maybe help hopefully expand on a little bit in these lives that we do together. All right, Ignore the washi tape on that. I haven't removed it yet. So nobody think that that's part of, it's not, it's not. So yeah, so I'm gonna pull that out and then I'm gonna throw that in the mix. And what I love about the Whimsy, you guys, is that they are designed to be tucks. Now you don't have to tuck it, but that was kind of the thought process behind the creation of this specific set. So one of the fun ways is if you want to use a border in the mix of your design is just to tuck that at the top, right? Keep it really just simple, clean. Of course, the layering is always a variety of options. And so if you want to kick it up a step, a gear here, you could definitely throw in some other layers. Now this could be with any of these, so I'm going to show that. So we have, I was going to pick it up that way, but it didn't work. So again, they could be tucks, right? You could layer on, let me grab some of my photos, and we'll kind of stay zeroed in on this tucking mindset. And you know, it's big enough as far as a foundational item that allows the layering to happen on top of it. So whether that is layering of your photos or layering of some different types of an embellishment, right? So for example, I don't know, let's pull out Tiny Seaside here, okay? And you can just kind of make these little bit of clusters and you're making a focal point with those foundational elements. So see how simple and easy that is? You don't even have to add much. And so it really has a good space for you to kind of utilize other designer templates that you might have in your collection, but gives just that nice foundational piece to work on. And of course, that's if you're using it like a tuck in your creation. Okay, so hopefully that's inspiring and insightful. Okay, so same thing. So I'm just gonna show us the different creation. That could be one layout design and then we mix it up, and maybe you're going more for, I'm gonna even stay with the same border because it's all about paper and mood setting that you happen to be focused on. We could switch that horizontal, and we could throw in, when I get starting to play to create, I can start showing various options, but I just want to emphasize that's what we're doing right now and how many ideas and inspiration come from allowing yourself to play for just a moment. And within just a couple sets, depending on, of course, the tone and the theme in which you're trying to accomplish, you really can create a various different ones with the set. So if I wanted this to be like, I don't know, pink flowers or something like that, where maybe my mood was shifting in the paper that I was using, I might choose just to do a very simple, clean flower here. If I wanted to layer it up, this is Tiny Springtime, by the way, I might throw something like that in, right? And then, yeah, I would finish the creation of my layout. I might put some photos down here and, you know, different things, but, and across my layout. Okay, now let's just throw in our lovely cloud here, kind of keeping that same rhythm going. And let's see what kind of translates into that feel. It works perfect with this blue kind of sky. It makes it really do feel like that's cloud elements. It really inspires me to say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull out some of my rings. You could do like a little small, I don't know, like a rainbow, right? Kind of really build up on that. You could even pull in, I'm really treating it like it's cloud right now, but I just think it's so cute. That's what I was instantly started to vibe off of, was that kind of feel. I'm thinking like, oh, I don't know, the sunshine a la carte could be really cute. Let me dig through my stuff here to kind of see what options. I always play with you guys live, so I don't really have anything pre-decided before I start throwing things into the mix, but maybe I just used it the other day. Huh. All right, well, it was a good thought. I was thinking like, you know, a little sunshine element for the tiny, or the a la carte. Oh, there it is, found it. Right when you're about to say, move on. See, like how fun would that be? Just a fun little cluster going across your page in different ways. So the whimsies are really fun for, again, that more tuck component, utilizing it with your other pieces, and for foundational for layering as well. So when you're starting to play with them, kind of go through those steps and directions and see where you're inspired to layer and merge different designer templates together. Now, another fun thing could be, that's kind of a top tuck. You know, of course, if we wanted to change it up a little, maybe we do on the edge of the paper. So you can align it with those edges as well. So if maybe you wanted to build, I don't know, like now that I did that, I'm kind of like, again, playing around thinking it could be like a bush. Like, you know, you could have like the creatures, woodland creatures, and really build off of this kind of scene if you wanted to do really themey creation, which are fun occasionally. They really are fun. But you don't have to go themey with these either, like I said. So you could keep it a very general element on your page that you kind of just build up around. So let's take a moment and I'll kind of expand on that thought process, is where maybe I'll do right, kind of. And even if you don't, if you want to keep borders out and you want to kind of zone in on more of a, even if it was just like a one pager, you know, you could definitely, those are fun that way too. Even looking at this, you could take your paper that you're tracing it onto. We're just going to expand on this for a moment. Stay with me. Lots of fun ways that you can use this, but if I wanted to, yeah, it's even yellow if we wanted to go for like a sun. If you wanted to go for a full sun, what you would do is you would trace this out, right? Like I would trace this out of my paper, and then you could line those edges up, flip it, and you could make a full shape too. Just kind of thinking outside the box of maybe different ways you can use the same tool on various different creations. So that's just another possible way that you could switch it up from creation with the same kind of set, right? All right, so now I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna play around with this for a moment. So I really love the tucking. I really love the, well, and this one, here's another thing I would pay attention to. Sometimes lining it up with, say, like see the bump on the border. So even just kind of making a mental note and shifting and adjusting it on those as well. So lots of fun things that you can kind of focus in on. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, it can be, but I would encourage you to zone in. Like think of one piece. If you're trying to strengthen your skills in the playing step, which is really what I'm doing right now, really to strengthen that would just be one, freedom. When you hear doubt in your mind, remind yourself that you haven't cut into anything, that there's no harm. Sometimes setting a timer on. I remember doing this previously just to allow my mind to kind of work towards an end result. So I would set a timer on maybe for 10-15 minutes, and I would push myself to say, okay, I'm gonna come up with something in the 10 minutes, because the other overwhelming components, even though the designer templates are such a useful designing tool that brings so much inspiration, But sometimes the possibilities are overwhelming because you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do like, and I get that sometimes when I demo, I feel for those that are like, oh my gosh, there's so many options, and or you make it look so easy. And I think that the advice I would give in that would be to, like I said, allow the freedom to play, the space and the time to do such, and then allowing, again, to kind of zone in on a piece of the thing. So maybe you don't want to design your whole layout. Maybe you want to do it kind of like what I'm doing, where you're like, ooh, I love that. Okay, I love that. So now I'm gonna go with something else. And you can build off of that. You can choose to just take each element and move to the next section. And sometimes getting those foundational pieces. Okay, so what I mean by that is like, you don't even need to figure out the layering and the clusters yet. If you want to continue, you know, just kind of building off. So let me take the opposite side and let's move over and say we're creating a 2-page layout. I'm gonna just first think, okay, I want to use this border because you really can't go wrong. And I do, I feel like I'm interested in using Whimsy. Then just play with those to start and then pull in some other elements for the extra detailed touches. But you can bring that in a little bit further down the phase. Hopefully this is all helping with you guys. I'm feeling like I just wanted to experiment on hopefully sharing some of those insights. I know sometimes when I do demo like this, just a true play to create demonstration on these events, they can be like, oh my goodness, she just changed it up like 20 million times. But really what I'm hoping is that you can give yourself permission to play and strengthen that skill if that is an area in which you're still developing yourself with the process of using designer templates as your designing tool. So, okay, good stuff. You know, guys, I always struggle not finishing. Like when I get started, I always think, okay, well, what does my rest of my layout look like? And then I always get the itch after I get done where I'm like, I gotta finish this layout. But it is sometimes fun just to play. And you could take little screenshots and be like, ooh, there's a layout, and then actually pull out your papers and finish your creation. But don't fall in the habit of just creating pages and then taking pictures but not ever finishing the creation. Take it to the next step. Take it to the next step and now create with it. So we're playing with it, we're gonna play, but all the play leads to the creation process. And the creation process, the more times that you just allow yourself to go through that and take an idea to a complete layout project or a complete creation, whether it's in your mind perfect or not perfect, it's a process. And the more you can go through that creation process, the more you strengthen your creator's mindset, which is what we refer to it. And then it becomes a little bit more second nature. And you find yourself not being too hard on yourself. You feel yourself not understanding that each creation is specific and each creation doesn't have to be perfect either. It really doesn't. So, would you use the Whimsy template on both pages? You know, it really depends. Like I probably would use, if I was going more like a very outdoorsy, you know, like if I really did want this to be a sun and then of course the cloud element, I could possibly work those together into it. Somehow even, you know, utilizing both of those, or maybe I choose to have this one on this side and the other. So it really depends on the theme that I will be trying to accomplish. Otherwise, yeah, like I probably would stick to one of the Whimsies and I would do more of that flower, and I probably wouldn't pull these in that case, Leslie, like you mentioned. So I'd probably actually mirror a lot of that design. That's also another great designing tip, is just when you kind of feel a vibe, switch the border and mirror the same look. You don't even have to, you know, feel that everything has to be so unique and original in that sense either. So actually, if you guys go through the idea book, what I just said, you're gonna see happen a lot on those samples. A very much mirror reflection happening when you're creating a 2-page layout. So you're gonna have to go take a look now, and like with that in mind, you're gonna see it all the time happening. Yes. I do have these pictures that I still working through. I have a few more of my daughter's graduation pictures, and I have this Kiwi Club kit of some of these papers left, and I definitely think I'm going to be making a layout utilizing Whimsy with this overall feel. So I'll be sharing that sample soon. It's been on my radar to do such. So I have an itch, and when the itch starts, it just sits there and waits and waits and waits. But so I'll be sharing that. But a lot of fun ways that you could, of course, can use Whimsy, and then again, whether it's foundational and you want to keep it simple, or layering. So keep in mind tucking. Keep in mind, I mean, I don't know if I would do that, but again, you could do them on the straight edges. This one doesn't have a straight edge, but you could absolutely pull it from the top. So like say we did something like that, instead of tucked, then you would just trace it out on your paper. And then I would probably find places to work in as many photos, because I like to add, when needed, a variety of photos. I'm not necessarily always a one picture person, right? And then, yeah, that would be super cute. So you would be almost working off your page if you wanted to do something like that as well. And then I'd probably add a little extra journaling thing here. Maybe another cluster of something. Yeah, doesn't need it necessarily. And then I would mirror that across the page. So, do you guys have any other questions about the Whimsy? You can check them out in the shop if you haven't had it yet, or if you've ordered it, we want you to use it. So go set some time aside on your calendar, because you don't find the time, you have to make the time. So if you don't put that time aside, then you won't find it. You won't find it, you guys. But I know from my personal experience, when I do make that time, it allows me, because of the freedom, what creation of any type does, it allows you to process, to have a space in a moment, and I really do believe it better equips you to go and deal with the rest of the schedule that is on your calendar. So always enjoying a little bit of that free time to play, to create, in whatever fashion that might be. I've always seen it benefit every other aspect of my life. So make the time, pull it out, create with it, and share it with us in the community, because I always love to see what you guys create, and of course be inspired by your ideas and your inspiration. And it's just a big reciprocal circle that happens there. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know, like I said, when you use it, what you think, and I of course will do the same. I'm gonna finish out, like I showed you, on those graduations here in the next week, hopefully, and then I will share that with you guys in the community as well. So, all right, take care. Bye, guys.